This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Barrington Lake blaze. The fire that grew to become part of Nova Scotia's largest wildfire started on this man's property.
Review request. Firefighters in Joggins ask Municipal Council to reconsider the decision to close the community's fire department.
And unexpected connection. How a dusty duffel bag found in Italy is reviving the story of a Cape Breton soldier.
An active week ahead and kicking things off with a storm tracking to our south on Tuesday with rain and gusty winds. Your full forecast is coming up.
The man who owns the property where the Barrington Lake wildfire started says it will take years before his land gets back to what it used to be like.
Court documents released at the sentencing last month revealed that the tire fire that became part of the wildfire was on private land owned by Mervyn Perry.
As Gareth Hampshire tells us, he did not give permission for those who were there to be on his property near Barrington Lake.
This is where Dalton Stewart lit a tire on fire using motor oil and cardboard, which then grew to become part of Nova Scotia's largest wildfire in May 2 years ago. He was here drinking with several friends in this area near Barrington Lake.
You're on somebody else's property to begin with. Go on your own property. Go pipe his property and destroy your own.
86-year-old Mervyn Perry, whose land this is, had no idea what was going on. This remote location, by what's known as Homer's Rock, is several kilometers from his house. It was in the days that followed when smoke and flames spread throughout his approximately 250 acres. He was told this was the spot.
There's a lot of beautiful places along this river here but most of it is destroyed now. It's all burnt and stuff like that. It would take years for it to come back.
Court documents reveal Dalton Stewart tried to stomp out the fire before leaving this area, but he did not use water or check that the embers were cool to the touch.
They just shouldn't have been here to begin with, and they just come up here to party and stuff like that. Well, they should know better. That's all I can say.
One of Perry's neighbors noticed trucks leaving the area that night, and the day after, smoke and a small but growing fire. That became part of the 23,000-hectare wildfire that burned down some cottages around the lake, as well as dozens of other structures. Perry's was spared, but like thousands of others, he had to leave his home. He acknowledges there was no intent to cause the kind of devastation that followed, but thinks the sentence of $25,000 could have been tougher, and others feel the same. Firefighters, many of them volunteers, and some who are also fishermen, battled the blaze.
It's kind of a slap in the face to the volunteer firefighters and everybody that lost everything.
Many are still hurting, he says, and the charred forest means there are constant reminders of the losses.
We have to see it every day, and most people here are not going to see it back to the way it was because it's just not going to live that long.
He says people are trying to move on, and that's what Mervyn Perry's doing as well.
It shouldn't have happened, but there, it did and it's gone. Now you got to live with it. They got to live with it.
He doesn't think he'll get to see the forest come back, but he intends to leave this land to his children and hopes it will bounce back for them to enjoy. Gareth Hampshire, CBC News, Barrington.
Joggins firefighters are asking the municipality to review their department's deregistration. The department was deregistered, citing building infrastructure and leadership issues. And as the CBC's Luke Ettinger reports, a 2022 report also recommended against combining the Joggins Fire Service with a nearby community.
Joggins firefighters aren't hanging up their bunker gear without a fight. Last month, the municipality of Cumberland said it was shutting down the Joggins Volunteer Fire Department. It cited training deficiency, structural issues with the building, and misconduct and poor judgment of leadership. The brothers, who were chief and deputy chief, are facing criminal charges stemming from an off-duty incident. John Reed, who's been with the department for decades, says the volunteer firefighters have asked for a review of the staff decision.
I don't think we should give up without some fight. There's going to be services lost here because of moving the fire department out the way they did. I've been around long enough to see where even a few people can make a big difference. I believe property will be lost, and I believe even possibly lives will be lost.
The department will be able to make their case to be reinstated to council. Staff will also present their arguments in a public meeting that could come as soon as November.
It's yet to be determined, but I suspect we're a couple of weeks out from that review meeting. I would expect that after the review meeting, inside of a week, 7-10 days, the council would reconvene and actually make the decision.
Since the deregistration, fire services in the area have been provided by the River Hibbert Volunteer Fire Department about 5 kilometers away. But a 2022 fire service review said both the Joggins and River Hibbert fire halls needed to be replaced. And it recommended against a combined station centrally located between the two communities, citing an approximate 5-minute increase to response times on average. A location for an estimated $3.5 million fire hall in River Hibbert has yet to be determined.
They deserve a new hall in this time. But remember, buildings don't save people. You can build a massage hall out there. It's not going to save a life. It's going to give you a nicer place to house your equipment.
Reed, who's retiring from firefighting, says other members are weighing whether to join neighboring departments. Luke Ettinger, CBC News, Joggins.
A man is dead after a shooting on North Preston on Sunday. Just before 5 p.m., police responded to reports of gunfire near the intersection of Kane Street and Clarence Street. When officers arrived, they found 28-year-old Jaden Tynes suffering from gunshot wounds. Tynes was taken to hospital where he later died. No arrests have been made. Police say they are still investigating.
A child has died in a 2-vehicle hit-and-run crash in Antigonish County. Police say an SUV and a large farm vehicle collided on Saturday night on Highway 104 near Antigonish in the Dagger Woods area. 4 people in the SUV were taken to hospital where a child was pronounced dead. The other vehicle left the scene. Police later located and seized what they believe to be the other vehicle.
A man accused of attacking several people in the ER at the Halifax Infirmary wants several charges against him heard by a judge and jury in Nova Scotia Supreme Court. Nicholas Kaloum appeared in provincial court in Halifax today. He had been expected to enter pleas on some of the 9 charges he faced in relation to the hospital incident. The charges from January of this year include attempted murder and aggravated assault. When pressed by a judge on what he wanted to do, Kaloum asked for a jury trial. A preliminary inquiry has now been set for early in the new year. Meanwhile, Kaloum remains in custody.
A Nova Scotia fisherman was sentenced last week to more than $76,000 in fines and a 1-year ban for fishing in a closed area and lying about his location. In 2022, Grant William Cameron was authorized by DFO to conduct a test fishery in a defined area to determine the presence of species not fished there commercially. Instead, he was found to be fishing for Atlantic halibut more than 120 kilometers away in a closed area and then provided incorrect information when asked for his fishing coordinates.
And time now to check in on our weather forecast. Here's Ryan Snoddon.
Yes, sounds like some blustery conditions coming our way.
Yeah, that's right. Rainy and windy. That's the big story for Tuesday. And we have warnings in place, in fact, of Richmond and Cape Breton County, Sydney Metro under the rainfall warning. The wind warning's in effect for northern Cape Breton. Special weather statements in effect for the east. And yeah, it is indeed the east that's going to bear the brunt of this system. 30 to 50 millimeters of rainfall for Cape Breton. But yeah, Sydney Metro and down towards Richmond County could see 50, 60, even 70 millimeters of rain. Amounts will taper off as we work our way towards the west, but a solid drink of 15 to 30 millimeters for most of the province. This is a quickly developing storm. It will be off to our south. We're ramping up overnight. Tuesday, we're into the wet weather, and the winds really increasing into the afternoon and evening as this storm pulls away. Note the afternoon, the winds ramping up in the southwest. We're looking at widespread gusts, 50 to 70 kilometers per hour with this system, but across Cape Breton and along that north shore, some gusts 80 to 90 kilometers per hour. This is just the first system of the week. More to come. We'll talk about that with your 7-day.
Do stay tuned. Okay, thanks so much, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
The Nova Scotia Nature Trust is asking for public support in an effort to protect over 1,000 acres of land in Cape Breton. The Pleister Cliffs east of Bedeque support a unique gypsum karst ecosystem. The Nature Trust says this ecosystem is highly threatened and one of the last protected ecosystems in Canada. The Nova Scotia has the most developed gypsum karst in Canada, but only 5% of it is protected. Trust is looking to raise $400,000 by the end of November.
The Canadian government is in the process of revitalizing the Royal Canadian Navy. New River-class destroyers will soon take shape at shipyards, and the government plans to soon procure new submarines. But there's also work being done on the oldest ship in the Navy, HMCS Oriole, which is based here in Nova Scotia. Brett Ruskin has more.
Here is how the Navy's newest ship looks, but what about its oldest?
The ship has lasted 104 years now, and it's still in beautiful shape.
Lieutenant Commander Greg Morris is captain of HMCS Oriole. The ship was launched in 1921 as a private yacht. Once World War II began, the Navy took interest.
As a training platform to help train sailors to get them out to the ships.
Since then, it's continued as a training tool for Canada's future military leaders.
Learning how to sail is just a small percentage of the skills that the sailors learn. Really, it's all about teamwork. It's all about leadership. And those skills are valuable, and they can certainly transfer to the operational ships of the Navy.
Right now, the ship is in Lunenburg for its once every 5 years refit. The team here took off the masts and over the winter will inspect the propeller, rudder, and rest of the ship.
The teak deck is to come up, pretty much 80% of it, and then go back down and be resealed. So it's a huge amount of labor and man hours.
But then the Oriole will sail to a new home away from Nova Scotia.
We'll relocate the vessel to the Great Lakes starting in June in 2026.
More opportunities there for public events and closer to the Royal Military College in Kingston.
Being able to provide at-sea experience for the naval cadets at RMC.
So even after a century of sailing the seas, this 104-year-old vessel is still all set to begin a new chapter in its history.
And as long as we maintain it, it can last another 104 years.
And some more history for you now. More than 80 years after Cape Breton soldier Hector MacDonald was killed fighting Nazi forces in Italy, his family has returned to the scene of his final battle.
And they were drawn there by an accidental discovery, a dusty, discarded duffel bag. The CBC's Megan Williams explains.
North Nova Scotia Islanders.
Local historian Michele Facchini reads the name of the Second World War regiment Hector Colin MacDonald penned on his duffel bag 8 decades ago. Along with the battles, the coal miner from Cape Breton survived.
We have Sicily, Italy continental, and then we have Ortona, very, very important battle, Cassino.
The most brutal offenses of the Italian campaign. Facchini was searching fields for battle remnants when this farmer showed him a dusty bag.
Hector Colin MacDonald left his duffel bag here in December 1944 as he moved on with his regiment to try to push the Germans over the Limone River.
Where in mid-December, MacDonald, just shy of 29, was killed on this bridge when he stepped on a German mine. One of some 550 Canadians who perished in the campaign through freezing, mud-choked terrain to liberate the Ravenna area near the Adriatic coast in central Italy. Memories of that time are still alive. A school turned hospital, frescoes to lift spirits in the former canteen, Christmas held in the town market basement.
The feeling, I guess, in one word would be heavy. It feels driving this whole route and following the route that everyone took, and that I know he walked for sure, and that his belonging was found in this very yard.
Stacey Jordan from Kingston, Ontario, is MacDonald's great-great-niece, here to honor Hector, or Hecky as he was called. Another local researcher spent weeks tracking down Jordan's mother, who messaged back immediately.
All it said was, he was my great uncle.
With Hector McDonald's wartime duffel bag now in the hands of Jordan, it will be heading back home to a family that never forgot his sacrifice. Megan Williams, CBC News, Russi, Italy.
And some weather for ducks coming up, but Ryan is on the way. Stay with us.
This weather update is brought to you in part by Atlantic Lottery's iGames. Play hundreds of games on the Atlantic Lottery app or at alc.ca.
All right, there's lots to talk about in the weather forecast tonight, system after system after system.
Oh, you're going to be busy.
Yeah, it's a busy week, and November picking up right where October left off with a couple of systems that brought really beneficial rainfall, and we're going to see more beneficial rainfall this week, and maybe even a little bit more than that. Yeah.
That time of year.
That time of year, indeed. Have a look, first and foremost, at our current temperatures, and you can see we're sitting anywhere between 0 at Port Hawkesbury and Antigonish, some cooler air really funneling in there, to 7 degrees at Pictou, 7 to Halifax, double digits at Western Head. And what we will see is actually temperatures dropping and then rising overnight. as we see some warmer air starting to wrap in around this and ahead of this system. Rainfall warning, in effect, Sydney, Cape Breton County, that is, Richmond County, and a wind warning in effect for Inverness and Victoria counties, and a special weather statement in effect for eastern areas of the Maritimes. And we will be watching this rain continuing to track in throughout this evening into the overnight. And this system is quickly developing, and this is what would classify as a weather bomb. So that is a system that drops 24 millibars of pressure or more in 24 hours or less. And that's what this one will do. And a quickly developing storm essentially means that this one is going to have a lot of punch with it. Lots of wet weather and, yes, lots of wind. Rainfall outlook, in case you missed it earlier, looking at generally 30 to 50 millimeters for Cape Breton, but I think Sydney Metro, Cape Breton County, Richmond County looking more likely to get into that 50, 60, 70 millimeter range. Guysborough County back into Antigonish County, amounts are going to drop off through this area, but could see anywhere from 20 to 40, maybe 50 millimeters here. Most of the mainland looking set to range between about 15 to 30 millimeters with this system. Yeah, temperatures will be generally in that 2, 3, 4 range overnight tonight. But as you can see, we are already looking at some pockets that are cooler than that. Now, by tomorrow morning, though, those temperatures bump up. We're 6, 7, 8 degrees for most. That wet weather really climbing in through the overnight hours and continuing throughout Tuesday morning. Note, that rain will be coming down at times heavy across Cape Breton. The afternoon looks more like scattered showers across Nova Scotia. Could even see some sunny breaks in the west before the sun sets as early as it does now. 7, 8 degrees across Cape Breton. Those winds from the northwest sustain near 50. We're going to gust 60, 70, and 80 kilometers per hour for most, but could see some gusts to 90 in Inverness and Victoria counties, hence the wind warning in effect. We're looking at 7, 8, 9 degrees across eastern parts of the mainland and into central as well. Generally gusts to 50 into the afternoon, but some gusts by the end of the afternoon along the coast in the 60 to 70 range. And we'll be gusting to 70, especially along parts of the coast in the west as well. Let's time out those winds one more time, and you can see quiet winds overnight. There's Tuesday, those winds ramping up from west to east throughout the day. And yeah, we are going to be looking at those very strong gusts through Tuesday evening, through the overnight, especially in through the east and Cape Breton. Wednesday morning, still howling across Cape Breton and the Northumberland shore. And then the winds are going to be easing for the mainland on Wednesday afternoon, but remaining gusty a little bit longer in through Cape Breton. Here comes our next system, and we are going to be watching this one tracking, at least as far as we know right now, tracking to the south. And so the wind's becoming northerly on this one, and it does look like maybe not quite as strong with this next one for most of us, not quite reaching warning criteria, but still looking at gusts in the 60, 70, perhaps 80 along parts of the coast with this Thursday system. We'll dive into that in more detail over the next couple of days. Wednesday, back to Wednesday here, just to show you some scattered showers in Cape Breton, but overall it looks quiet. And then look at this system. If this was like a month from now, this would be a very interesting setup for Thursday morning. But cold enough even right now that maybe a few flakes, South Mountain, Cobequid Pass, Mount Tom, those higher terrain areas of the 104. I'd be surprised based on temperatures if we see accumulation here, but looking likely to see some flakes flying Thursday morning. As I said, a month from now, this would be a bigger story for sure. Friday, we're looking at a mix of sun and cloud. Saturday, another system, which, we'll have perhaps a few more flakes Saturday night as that departs. So Tom and Amy, welcome to November.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Buckle in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Gardeners, neighbors, and community members celebrated some good old-fashioned fall fun on Saturday.
Yeah, it was the annual Harvest Hootenanny and Pumpkin Smash celebration at the Common Roots Urban Farm in Halifax. Take a look.
We came out to visit the garden, to listen to some good music, and just participate in this event. We've participated in the past, and so we know it's always fun to come and smash a pumpkin and have some treats and kind of close up the garden at the end of the season.
And Lewin, how are you enjoying it so far? You don't know?
Are you having fun?
Well, the Grow, Eat, Learn trailer is a brand new asset that we have with Nourish Nova Scotia, and because our office is close by here, we've got the trailer at the urban farm, and it's been helping out with different projects around the farm, like placemaking, harvesting, and also powering the tools that have just completed the fridge that today is the launch of. People are really excited. The trailer is very cute, and it's a pretty public-facing thing that we have now that we can bring out into community that helps us raise awareness about what we're doing with youth, but also creating awesome opportunities for youth to be engaged in building gardens, harvesting from gardens, processing from gardens, making pizza with garden toppings, etc.
Coming up, a new report says Canada had a record-breaking tourism season this summer. We'll see how the industry is doing in Nova Scotia. A recent report by Destination Canada says the Canadian tourism sector generated a record-breaking revenue of $59 billion between May and August, driven by both strong domestic and international travelers. Well, for a look at the local tourism industry, Darlene Grant-Fiander with the Tourism Industry Association of Nova Scotia joins us. So, Ms. Grant-Fiander, what can you say about how this province did this summer, tourism-wise?
Well, the August numbers are out, and we're pacing very much like the rest of the country. Slightly down in August, but we anticipate we'll catch up with the August, September, October numbers. So there's been a high level of optimism in the industry this year. So it's going to be a solid year for sure.
Any reason why August might have been a little bit off?
No, probably it wasn't August. It might have been earlier in the year, and we're just catching up, because they start tracking numbers from January. And so the numbers are late coming out. So, we're kind of behind in the research side of things, but we anticipate that August was incredibly strong, that we heard from our members. So I think by year's end, it's going to be good. And in 2024, the revenue exceeded $3.5 billion in Nova Scotia. So it's been incredibly good over the last couple of years.
Okay, fair enough. And so on the spending front there, what did we see in terms of tourist spending this year? Spending more, spending less?
I think it depends on the mode that they came in. Usually air travelers spend more. We saw an increase in car traffic coming in, an increase from the Quebec market and other parts of Canada. And the international traveler is a high yield customer for us, incredibly important, just like the United States customer is very important for us. So they spend more, they stay longer, depending again on the mode they're coming in. I know if they come in via the ferry, an average stay in the province is, around 10 days. So that's pretty significant. It disperses the economics in, various communities.
It's interesting because in the national numbers, we saw a bit of a dip on the U.S. travelers, but here in Nova Scotia, I gather those numbers are still fairly strong, unlike the national numbers. What do you attribute that to?
I think, politics is politics, but tourism is is really about hospitality. We have close connections to our friends in the United States. And I think they show slightly down in August, but I think that will catch up. Our outreach to our own members indicated that the U.S. numbers were at least on par with 24 and actually increased on a number of cases. So, we have strong cultural ties with the United States. They're a very important market to us. And I think, of course, the exchange rate was very favorable to come to Canada, to come to Nova Scotia. So that's important. They've had some confidence in access. We've had some good flight increases, direct flights into Nova Scotia, and also, again, the consistency of having the ferries important. So lots of different things. It's never one thing with tourism, but certainly it's an incredibly important market for us. And so we hope that that continues to stabilize and grow in the years to come.
Interestingly, the national report talked about regions outside of the major cities in the country seeing an increase in demand, including here in Nova Scotia. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, you think about when you go to a place, and the towns and the small towns and the villages that we have are incredibly special. A lot of our cultural experiences are in those communities, the preservation of our history. I mean, Nova Scotia is incredibly special with the kind of towns and communities we have. So, and the other thing is, it's a travelable destination once you're here. So you may start off in Halifax, and very quickly you can be to a very different type of product. You're never, I think it's 6 kilometers, 5 kilometers from the coast. So, I mean, it's we have it all really, and we have a great opportunity to leverage tourism much even greater in the coming years.
Well, I want to talk to you about that just quickly. There's this new 5-year roadmap from Tourism Nova Scotia to grow the industry here. How might we expect, or what might we expect from that to change what's already a $3.5 billion tourism industry in this province?
Well, I think part of it is the $3.5 billion. We don't talk about it a lot in terms of its significance. We talk about resource investment and other sectors, but tourism, supersedes all of those. And with, we believe, an integrated approach to growth, we could actually do incredibly a lot more business in the province. And so that's policy alignment. If government's looking at policy that affects tourism, we need to be part of that conversation. Building the shoulder season, developing sustainability in some of those smaller communities, leveraging our cultural story. I mean, we are an old destination in many ways, and we have a great story to tell, and we often get kind of we don't often do a great job at telling that. Investment readiness, how ready are we for investment? And you think of the towns and villages in Nova Scotia, without the infrastructure tourism brings, what would they look like? So there's so many opportunities, but we believe working with government, and this strategy was the first time that industry and government worked together in such a collaborative way to kind of agree that there are 6 pillars that we need to focus on, and access is one of them. We have to stop talking about one part of transportation, and we have to start looking at the way people get here, how they can move around, how we can, make sure they spend their money in communities throughout the province. So there are a number of facets to tourism, and I mentioned to you earlier, we talk a lot about how busy was the season. I mean, tourism is a year-round industry, and at $3.5 billion without a lot of attention, imagine what we could do for this province, especially with the natural assets and resources we have.
Yeah, all the things Nova Scotia has to offer. Darlene Grant-Finder,
Absolutely.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Coming up, major spending and deep cuts. Mark Carney's Liberal government will table its first budget this week.
And a search and rescue operation is underway after a powerful earthquake rocked northern Afghanistan. Welcome back. The minority Liberal government is set to deliver its first budget on Tuesday, and it's not clear whether it will garner enough support to pass.
As Olivia Stefanovich reports, the Carney government's survival is at stake.
In a break with tradition, the federal finance minister making his own footwear before delivering a budget meant to build up the economy.
This is a moment where, Canadians should be proud that these shoes have been made by folks here in Canada, made in Canada for Canada. Same shoes that the RCMP officers are wearing across our nation.
But in an effort to continue that momentum and make the country more resilient, the federal government is planning to spill red ink, lots of it, in the hopes it will turn black. CBC News has learned the budget will include tens of billions of dollars in savings over the coming years, changes to make the tax structure pro-competition and pro-growth, a new tax credit for businesses to write off investments in equipment or other assets that boost productivity, and a halving of the Trudeau-era plan to plant 2 billion trees by 2031.
The budget tomorrow is all about, it's an investment budget. It's a generational shift.
Mr. Speaker, tomorrow will be the 10th costly Liberal budget.
With the deficit expected somewhere between $70 and $100 billion, opposition parties aren't yet saying how they'll vote, but they are laying out conditions.
The choice for us is simple. If a budget brings down the cost of living, we'll support it.
It sounds like he's bargaining with himself.
The minority Liberals only need 3 votes from outside their party to pass their economic plan. If they fall short, the government will fall.
I don't think Canadians want an election, that's for sure. And my own view is I don't think Canada needs an election right now. That's why I've said it's up to Mr. Carney. I mean, he has to draft a budget as a Prime Minister in a minority parliament that earns the support of one other party. And that's his job.
The government has a few weeks to earn that support. A vote isn't expected until mid-November, the first federal budget in 18 months. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Ottawa.
The Liberals' highly anticipated federal budget includes new support for industries impacted by U.S. tariffs, but small businesses say they need help too. The CBC's Nisha Patel now on what they hope to see Tuesday when the full budget details are released.
Steve Malia was shooting for the moon with his telescope business, but these days trade uncertainty is keeping him grounded.
On the manufacturing side, we've seen the demand for our products drop. This is probably our most popular scope right now.
He's scrambled to secure new customers beyond the U.S. and find new supply chains as tariffs raise costs and lower his sales. He hopes tomorrow's federal budget will help take some of the pressure off.
What I would like to see is programs in place for smaller businesses where you don't have to be making a certain amount of revenue every year.
The federal government has already announced a $5 billion fund to help companies tap different export markets and retrain workers, plus a $1 billion regional tariff response for small businesses, but only if they have more than 5 employees. Meanwhile, some sectors like autos, steel, and forestry are being hit harder than others.
Some companies don't have the financial wherewithal to make it through. So some companies probably won't survive. There's a few that stopped already, and it's very unfortunate.
Thank you. You too. The wish list from the business community is wide-ranging, from confirming the increased threshold to the lifetime capital gains exemption to lowering the small business tax rate.
A lot of businesses are, have not had a regular month of sales in 5 years when you include the pandemic-related concerns that business owners have had. So a lot of them are hanging on by a thread right now.
That continuing uncertainty especially tough for small businesses.
It's like the big guys will be okay, but the little guy is going to get potentially stamped out.
Unless the federal budget provides more relief. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Bolton, Ontario.
The Trump administration has to take action today on 2 court rulings that deal with the government's food assistance program. SNAP provides groceries for millions of households across the country, but it's been put on hold as the government shutdown in Washington enters its 2nd month. It's been 34 days since the shutdown, and if the standoff goes on much longer, by Wednesday, it will become the longest shutdown in American history.
In the Middle East, the Red Cross says Israel has handed over the bodies of 45 Palestinians to Hamas officials in Gaza. And the exchange marks another step forward for the fragile U.S.-brokered ceasefire. It comes a day after the militant group returned the remains of 3 Israeli soldiers killed in the October 7th attacks in 2023. The CBC's Crystal Gamansing has the details from Jerusalem.
The identities of the latest 3 individuals to have their remains returned to Israel have been identified. 3 soldiers that Israel Defense Forces say were killed defending their communities on October 7th during the Hamas-led attacks and had their remains kidnapped and taken back into Gaza until just yesterday. Those 3 individuals, Asif Hamemi, Omer Nutra, and Oz Daniel. Omer Nutra is an Israeli-American citizen.
Our hearts are shattered, yet at last we can begin the process of bringing Omer to his final resting place in the land he loved and defended.
As those individuals will be acknowledged and set for a burial, we did see more searches underway in Gaza, particularly in the outskirts of Gaza City around the community of Sajaya. Now, at that site, there were members of the International Committee of the Red Cross. The Red Cross, as a neutral third party, has played a pivotal role in the remains being returned, receiving them from Hamas and shepherding them on into the hands of Israeli officials. I spoke with Sarah Davies, a spokesperson for the Red Cross, and she said the workers on the ground are very aware of the emotional weight of their role as the neutral party involved.
These were human beings with loved ones at home who for 2 years have not known what happened to them. The families have a right to know under international humanitarian law the fate of their loved ones. So we are, of course, relieved that we can play a role in this and see that families receive the remains of their loved ones for a respectful and dignified burial in line with their beliefs.
8 individuals remain inside Gaza. Hamas has repeatedly said they have no interest in keeping the remains, that they are working to identify the locations, uncover them, and hand them off to Israeli officials. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, Jerusalem.
At least 20 people are dead and more than 600 are injured following an earthquake in northern Afghanistan. The death toll is expected to rise. The 6.3 magnitude tremor struck one of the country's largest cities in the middle of the night. Anna Cunningham has more.
This was a powerful earthquake. Eyewitnesses have been describing it as violently shaking their homes at about 1 o'clock in the morning local time. Now, for those who did get out, they described how the air was filled with dust. The quake's epicenter was actually in the northern city of Mazar-e-Sharif. This is along the Mazar-Samangan highway, which at the best of times is difficult and dangerous terrain to travel on. It's actually cut through a very high mountain valley. And this quake will now have increased the risk from rockfalls along that highway. In Balkh and Samangan provinces, people there have been seen digging through the rubble of collapsed homes. Many of these houses are built with mud bricks and they simply are not constructed to withstand the powerful shaking of such an earthquake. Local hospitals have been treating those who were rescued and injured, but there are still reports of people trapped beneath the rubble of collapsed buildings. We know that the Afghan Red Crescent is carrying out rescue operations at the moment, but it is likely to take time to reach some of those more remote villages. This is the latest big quake. It's actually the third to hit Afghanistan since the Taliban retook power in 2021. And it was felt some 420 kilometres to the south in the capital, Kabul. In Mazar-e-Sharif, where the epicenter was recorded, it did damage what is seen as one of the holiest sites in Afghanistan. This is the historic Blue Mosque. Now, the images that you're looking at are from last year. It is a 15th century landmark. And if we take a look at the images that were filmed not long after the earthquake overnight, you can just about see the debris and tiles on the ground. Anna Cunningham, CBC News, London.
A 13th century building in the heart of Rome has partially collapsed, seriously injuring one person and leaving another stuck under the rubble. Firefighters were trying to free the trapped man when a second collapse occurred. The 800-year-old tower near the Roman Colosseum was undergoing renovations before the initial cave-in. Officials say there are signs of life from the trapped construction worker, but the 29-meter-tall structure has become unstable, complicating rescue efforts which have stretched into the night.
The company that owns Kleenex is buying the maker of Tylenol for the equivalent of $68 billion Canadian. In the massive deal, Kimberly-Clark will own about 54% of the combined company. It brings several household cleaning brands and health-related products under one roof. That includes Cottonelle toilet paper, Huggies, along with Kleenex from Kimberly-Clark, plus Listerine mouthwash, the Band-Aid brand, and the painkiller Tylenol from Kenvue. Tylenol was recently in the news because of the Trump administration's unproven claims linking it to autism.
It's no secret that Canada's population is aging. Seniors make up 20% of the entire population. But in Newfoundland and Labrador, it's even more. And for the first time in any province, 1 in every 4 people there are now 65 or older. As Heather Gillis reports, that's putting a strain on provincial services like healthcare.
People think, once you get 65, 60, you're no good for nothing or nobody, just fall among the wayside. I don't believe that.
84-year-old Bob Burton in St. John's, who was getting ready for a Halloween party Friday, says seniors have contributed a lot to Newfoundland and Labrador.
They put the apples on the trees and they put the berries on the ground,
Statistics Canada says for the first time, a quarter of people in the province are like Burton and now 65 or older. The CEO of Seniors NL says this grey wave isn't going anywhere.
Newfoundland and Labrador has what Stats Canada calls the golden age threshold. And as you know, we are the first province in the history of Canada to receive this age distinction, so that is huge.
Kimberly Leonard says it'll put a strain on the healthcare system, but the biggest problem, she says, is the cost of living is hitting seniors hard.
It's making it unbearable for people even to meet the basic essentials like food. Food insecurity is still very huge. Housing, rent, buying medications.
She says her organization is also referring more seniors to shelters than ever before.
We have people who call, what do I do? I'm getting evicted in 5 days because I cannot pay my rent. So where do I go? Because there's no affordable place for them ready to go, that's less rent, they're having to go to shelters.
A lot of people saw this coming.
Karen Duty is the director of the Aging Research Centre at Memorial University's Grenfell campus. She says an aging population brings challenges, but also opportunities.
We have a large segment of our population that has just an abundance of wisdom, knowledge, and lived experience that they are more than willing to share.
Meanwhile, Seniors NL says there are lessons to learn from countries like Japan, where nearly 30% of the population is 65 or older. But both Leonard and Duty say looking at how much people receive from pensions could be a big help for some seniors who are struggling to meet their basic needs. Heather Gillis, CBC News, St. John's.
Gains in the consumer cyclical sector helped push Canada's main stock index to finish modestly higher on Monday, while the U.S. markets were mixed. Here's a look at the numbers as we head to break.
This weather update is brought to you in part by Atlantic Lottery's iGames. Play hundreds of games on the Atlantic Lottery app or at alc.ca.
All right, we wanted the rain, we wanted the showers. We're on a roll now.
I think more leaves are going to be coming down.
Yeah, for sure, which was, not a ton left. Most of them on my yard, it appears, at this point. But actually a little change. We've been showing so many leaf pictures and sunsets. Have a look at this picture for today. This one, we're zooming in on Lawrencetown Beach, a great spot in the summertime, but also this time of year.
Oh, wow.
Getting some waves.
Yeah, this was taken yesterday.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Yeah,
So
great day.
Shelley, with this great snap, and I assume that person has a wetsuit on.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see.
We'll assume, because water temps are still actually not too bad. They're around 16 degrees, believe it or not. Now, as we look at the system that's going to be rolling in overnight tonight, in through tomorrow, it is periods of rain tracking in. Temperatures actually rising overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. So we're starting in the 7, 8, 9 range, and that is going to continue even into the morning with that rain at times heavy over Cape Breton. It's scattered showers that are going to be rolling across the rest of the mainland into the afternoon. And as that system departs, we're going to see that northwest wind strengthening. So tomorrow, it is tomorrow afternoon, you can see some gusts picking up in the Tri-County area and along the coastline of Cape Breton as well. Really cranking those winds will be tomorrow evening around this time and beyond, 60, 70, some 80 kilometer per hour gusts. And yeah, we could see some gusts topping 90, especially Inverness and Victoria counties in Cape Breton, back towards Pictou County as well. We'll see some very strong gusts. And then into Wednesday morning, still some very strong gusts across Cape Breton. The rest of the mainland easing as we move into the afternoon. And have a look at this. A few flakes possible Thursday morning over higher terrain areas.
Okay, you're warned. All right, well, we all know wet, windy weather forced Halloween to be rescheduled in some communities in this province.
But it also enhanced the costume belonging to one 8-year-old from Cape Breton. Have a look.
Hi, it's Blake McCain with Cape Breton News. It's a stormy and rainy evening, and it's Halloween, so get the streets fast before they're gone and we all go away! Back to you!
Natural. Thanks, Blake. She told her family that weather reporters always stayed outside in the storm, so once she heard the forecast for Halloween in Cape Breton, she decided that's what she wanted to be, and
Watch
she
your back,
is
Ryan.
an absolute natural.
She nailed it. Okay,
Yeah.
That's it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.